the ultimate guide to America's most iconic landmarks. Part 1 of 2 Intro. Welcome back to Passport to Wanderlust, the channel where we explore the world's most incredible destinations one adventure at a time. I'm your host, Jessica, and today we're embarking on the ultimate American road trip without leaving your seat. We're going to journey through all 50 states to discover the single most iconic landmark that defines each one. From towering natural wonders carved by millions of years of geological forces to architectural marvels that showcase human ingenuity and ambition, the United States is home to some of the world's most recognizable and visited attractions. These landmarks don't just draw millions of tourists each year, they tell the story of America itself, reflecting our history, culture, natural beauty, and the dreams that built this nation. Choosing just one landmark per state wasn't easy. Every state boasts multiple attractions that could easily claim the title of most iconic. But after extensive research, consultation with tourism boards, and analysis of visitor statistics, we've compiled what we believe represents the absolute best of American landmarks. Some choices might surprise you, others will seem obvious, but all of them showcase why America remains one of the world's premier travel destinations. So grab your virtual passport as we explore the crown jewels of American tourism, from the battlefields that shaped our nation's destiny to the natural wonders that leave visitors speechless. Whether you're planning your next road trip or simply dreaming of future adventures, this comprehensive guide will give you insider knowledge about the landmarks that truly capture the essence of each state. The Deep South, where history comes alive. Let's begin our journey in the heart of the American South, where history and hospitality converge in remarkable ways. Alabama stands as our first stop, where Mobile Bay houses one of the most significant naval museums in the country. The USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park represents far more than just a decommissioned warship, it's a floating piece of World War II history that played a crucial role in the Pacific Theater. This mighty vessel, launched during the height of World War II, earned 5 battle stars for her service in the Pacific Campaign. What makes this landmark particularly special is how it was saved from the scrapyard by the people of Alabama themselves. In the early 1960s, when the federal government planned to dismantle the ship, Alabama citizens rallied together, raising funds to purchase their state's namesake and transform it into a living museum. Today, visitors can explore 12 levels of this floating city, discovering everything from the captain's quarters to the massive engine rooms that powered this steel leviathan across the Pacific. The economic impact has been staggering, nearly $1 billion generated for Alabama's economy since opening, making it not just a historical treasure but an economic cornerstone for the state. Traveling east to Louisiana, we encounter a completely different but equally captivating landmark. The French Quarter of New Orleans, known locally as the Vieux Carré, represents the birthplace of one of America's most unique cities. Founded in 1718 by Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville, this historic district preserves the essence of colonial French and Spanish architecture in ways found nowhere else in North America. Walking through the French Quarter feels like stepping through a portal into another century. The intricate ironwork balconies, the centuries-old townhouses with their distinctive Creole architecture, and the ever-present sounds of jazz music create an atmosphere that's simultaneously mysterious and welcoming. Jackson Square serves as the heart of the district, dominated by the stunning St. Louis Cathedral, while nearby Bourbon Street pulses with energy that has made New Orleans famous worldwide. What many visitors don't realize is that the French Quarter survived not just centuries of storms and floods, but also urban development pressures that destroyed historic districts in many other American cities. The preservation efforts here began in the 1930s and represent one of the earliest and most successful historic preservation movements in the United States. The Western Frontier, natural wonders beyond imagination. As we journey westward, the landmarks become increasingly dominated by natural wonders that showcase the raw power and beauty of the American landscape. Arizona's Grand Canyon stands as perhaps the most internationally recognized natural landmark in the United States, and for good reason. This geological masterpiece stretches 278 miles in length and plunges more than a mile deep, revealing nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history in its colorful rock layers. The canyon's formation began millions of years ago as the Colorado River carved its way through layers of sedimentary rock, creating this natural cathedral that attracts nearly 5 million visitors annually. What makes the Grand Canyon particularly remarkable is how it changes throughout the day as shifting light creates an ever-changing palette of colors across its vast expanse. Archaeological evidence suggests that indigenous peoples have called this region home for over 12,000 years, with various tribes considering the canyon sacred long before it became a tourist destination. The canyon gained national attention following John Wesley Powell's 1869 expedition, which provided the first comprehensive scientific study of this natural wonder. Moving north to Colorado, we encounter Rocky Mountain National Park, a 415-square-mile wilderness that epitomizes the American West's rugged beauty. Established in 1915, this park showcases more than 60 peaks soaring above 12,000 feet, with Long's Peak reaching 14,259 feet as the park's crown jewel. The park's ecosystem ranges from montane forests filled with aspen and pine to alpine tundra, where only the hardiest plants survive. Visitors can witness this ecological diversity along the famous Trail Ridge Road, which climbs to over 12,000 feet elevation and provides access to landscapes typically found in the Arctic. Rocky Mountain National Park serves as a sanctuary for wildlife that once roamed freely across the American West. Elk herds migrate through the valleys, bighorn sheep navigate impossible cliff faces, and black bears forage in mountain meadows filled with wildflowers. The park's establishment represented an early recognition that America's wilderness heritage needed protection for future generations. The Pacific Coast, where dreams meet reality. California presents perhaps the most difficult choice on our entire list, as the Golden State boasts more internationally recognized landmarks than almost any other state. However, the Golden Gate Bridge stands as the clear winner, representing not just San Francisco but the entire American dream of westward expansion and technological achievement. Completed in 1937, this engineering marvel spans the Golden Gate Strait connecting San Francisco Bay to the Pacific Ocean. The bridge's distinctive international orange color wasn't just an aesthetic choice, it was carefully selected to provide visibility for ships while harmonizing with the surrounding landscape. The color also provides excellent contrast against both the blue ocean and frequent fog that rolls through the bay. More than 2.2 billion vehicles have crossed this span since its opening, making it one of the most heavily traveled bridges in the world. The bridge's construction represented a triumph over seemingly impossible engineering challenges, including powerful ocean currents, frequent fog, and the need to build foundations in deep water. Hawaii's most significant landmark carries profound historical weight that extends far beyond the islands themselves. Pearl Harbor National Memorial commemorates the December 7, 1941, attack that thrust America into World War II and changed the course of world history. Located on the island of Oahu, this memorial complex attracts over 2 million visitors annually who come to pay respects and learn about this pivotal moment in American history. The USS Arizona Memorial, built directly above the sunken battleship, serves as both a tomb for the 1,177 sailors and Marines who died aboard the vessel and a symbol of America's resilience in the face of tragedy. The memorial's design, with its sagging center representing the initial defeat and upward curving ends symbolizing ultimate victory, creates a powerful architectural statement about triumph over adversity. The Mountain West, monuments to natural and human achievement. South Dakota's Mount Rushmore represents one of America's most ambitious artistic undertakings, combining patriotic symbolism with engineering prowess on an unprecedented scale. Carved between 1927 and 1941 under the direction of sculptor Gutzon Borglum, this mountain memorial features the 60-foot tall faces of 4 presidents who shaped America's development: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt. The selection of these 4 presidents wasn't arbitrary. Washington represented the nation's birth, Jefferson its expansion through the Louisiana Purchase, Lincoln its preservation during the Civil War, and Theodore Roosevelt its emergence as a world power. Borglum envisioned the monument as a shrine to democracy that would endure for millennia. The carving process required innovative techniques, including the use of dynamite for rough shaping followed by precision pneumatic tools for detailed work. Workers suspended on cables performed much of the intricate carving while dangling hundreds of feet above the ground. Remarkably, despite the dangerous conditions, no workers died during the monument's construction. Wyoming's Yellowstone National Park holds the distinction of being America's first national park, established in 1872 when the concept of preserving wilderness for public enjoyment was revolutionary. This 2.2 million acre wonderland sits atop an active supervolcano, creating the world's largest collection of geothermal features. Old Faithful, the park's most famous geyser, erupts approximately every 90 minutes, shooting boiling water up to 180 feet into the air. However, Old Faithful represents just one of more than 10,000 geothermal features throughout the park, including hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles that create an otherworldly landscape. The park's establishment marked a turning point in American conservation philosophy, recognizing that some natural wonders belonged to all citizens rather than private developers. This concept influenced conservation movements worldwide and established the template for the modern national park system. The Great Plains, monuments to exploration and settlement. The Great Plains states showcase landmarks that tell the story of American expansion and the pioneering spirit that drove settlers westward. Nebraska's Chimney Rock served as a crucial navigation landmark for thousands of pioneers traveling the Oregon Trail during the 19th century. This 325-foot-tall rock formation rises dramatically from the surrounding plains, visible for miles in every direction. For wagon trains making the arduous journey west, Chimney Rock represented a milestone indicating they had completed roughly one-third of their journey to Oregon or California. Pioneer diaries frequently mention the rock as a welcome sight after weeks of monotonous prairie travel. The formation itself dates back approximately 25 million years to the Oligocene epoch, when volcanic ash and sediments accumulated in ancient lake beds. Erosion carved the distinctive spire shape over millions of years, creating one of the most recognizable landmarks in the American West. Kansas contributes Monument Rocks, the state's first national natural landmark, designated in 1968. These towering chalk formations, reaching 50 feet above the surrounding prairie, were formed during the Cretaceous period when a vast inland sea covered much of the central United States. The chalk contains fossils of marine creatures that lived in the ancient sea, including giant sea reptiles, fish, and mollusks. These formations served as landmarks for Native American tribes long before European settlement, and later guided travelers crossing the seemingly endless expanse of prairie. The Industrial Heartland, celebrating human achievement. The Midwest showcases landmarks that celebrate both industrial achievement and cultural innovation. Illinois' Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower, dominated Chicago's skyline since its completion in 1973 and held the title of world's tallest building for nearly 25 years. Rising 1,450 feet above Chicago's streets, the tower represented the pinnacle of American architectural and engineering achievement when it opened. The building's innovative bundled tube design allowed it to reach unprecedented heights while maintaining structural integrity against Chicago's notorious winds. The skydeck on the 103rd floor provides visitors with panoramic views extending across 4 states on clear days. The glass ledges, added during renovations, allow brave visitors to stand 1,353 feet above the street while looking straight down through transparent flooring. Indiana's contribution to American culture comes through the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home to the legendary Indianapolis 500 race. Built in 1909, this 2.5-mile oval track can accommodate 235,000 spectators, making it the world's largest sports venue by permanent seating capacity. The first Indianapolis 500 took place in 1911, establishing traditions that continue today. The race winner receives milk to drink in Victory Lane, a tradition that began in the 1930s and represents the wholesome American values associated with the sport. The Indianapolis 500 remains one of the most prestigious motorsports events globally, attracting drivers and fans from around the world. The Eastern Seaboard, foundations of American democracy. Eastern Seaboard states preserve the landmarks where American democracy was born and developed. Pennsylvania's Independence Hall in Philadelphia stands as the birthplace of American independence, where both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were debated and adopted. This Georgian-style building, completed in 1753, witnessed the most important debates in American history. Within its walls, the Founding Fathers argued over the principles that would govern the new nation, ultimately creating documents that have influenced democratic movements worldwide. The nearby Liberty Bell, with its famous crack and inscription proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof, became a symbol of American freedom. The bell's association with liberty began long before the American Revolution, but its symbolism grew during the abolitionist movement when it became an icon for the fight against slavery. New York's Statue of Liberty represents perhaps America's most powerful symbol of freedom and opportunity. This gift from France, dedicated in 1886, welcomed millions of immigrants who arrived in New York Harbor seeking new lives in America. Standing 305 feet tall including its pedestal, Lady Liberty holds a torch representing enlightenment and a tablet inscribed with the date of American independence. The statue's design incorporated classical elements with modern engineering techniques, creating an artwork that could withstand decades of harsh weather while maintaining its symbolic power. Emma Lazarus's poem The New Colossus, inscribed on a plaque within the pedestal, transforms the statue's meaning from a celebration of American liberty to a welcome for the world's oppressed masses seeking freedom and opportunity in America. The South, preserving American heritage. The Southern states contribute landmarks that preserve crucial chapters in American history, both triumphant and tragic. South Carolina's Fort Sumter National Monument marks the location where the Civil War began on April 12, 1861, when Confederate forces fired upon Union troops occupying the federal fort. Built beginning in 1829 to protect Charleston Harbor from foreign attack, Fort Sumter became the flashpoint for a conflict that would determine whether the United States would remain united or divide into separate nations. The fort's bombardment marked the beginning of a 4-year war that would claim more American lives than any other conflict in the nation's history. Today, the fort serves as a sobering reminder of the divisions that once threatened to destroy the Union and the courage required to preserve American democracy. Visitors can only reach the fort by boat, adding to its sense of isolation and historical significance. North Carolina showcases American wealth and ambition through the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, the largest private residence ever built in the United States. Constructed between 1889 and 1895 for George Washington Vanderbilt II, this 250-room mansion demonstrates the unprecedented wealth accumulated by America's industrial barons during the Gilded Age. The estate spans 175,000 square feet and sits on 8,000 acres of carefully designed grounds. Frederick Law Olmsted, who designed Central Park in New York City, created the estate's gardens and landscape architecture. The mansion contains an art collection rivaling many museums, including works by Renoir and other masters. The Biltmore Estate represents not just individual wealth but also American craftsmanship and design excellence. European artisans worked alongside American craftsmen to create interiors that combined old-world elegance with new-world innovation. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to watch part 2 of this series exploring some America's most iconic landmarks.